Hi guys, I am back with 7 more ways to simplify your life. If you missed the first video in which I shared 5 ways to simplify your life, I will link that below. You guys seemed to really like that video and said that that was something that you were working on, and I have been really working on simplifying my life and it feels so good. So I wanted to share 7 more ways to simplify your life. I'm going to jump right in because I wanted to give each thing that I wanted to share enough time. So the first thing is to know your priorities and know what you want your life to look like. And the reason I say that is because sometimes we're so busy and we're just rushing around, spinning in circles, and it feels like we're not accomplishing what we want to. We're not meeting our goals, but we're busy. And so I did a video while we were working on this house, so it's actually filmed at my old house, and I shared, I can't remember the title of the video, but I shared kind of what to do when life is really busy, and I talked about my non-negotiables or my priorities. So know what your priorities are. If you have a family, obviously that will be one of your priorities. If you are a Christian like me, obviously your relationship with God will be a priority, and you need to be on your priority list as well. But know what you want your life to look like. Have a vision of what you want your life to look like, and then when you're adding things to your plate, you'll know if it falls in line with what you want for your life or what God wants for your life. And if you are rushing around, always feeling like you're not accomplishing anything, just take a moment and evaluate your life and evaluate your priorities. The second way to simplify your life is to reevaluate your time commitments. We all have so many things that can fill our time, and if you have kids and they are in activities, if you belong to a church, if you volunteer, if you work in your community, if you're part of a ladies group, if you play sports, there are just so many things that can fill our time, and it doesn't mean that any of them are bad on their own, or some of them are bad or anything like that, but we can't be involved in everything, and our kids can't necessarily be involved in everything either. So with your priorities in mind, make sure that you have enough time for your family, for your main priorities, for meeting your goals, and then fit what you can in your week. But if you are always in your car driving everybody around, or if you are always going off here and there and you feel like you're never home and you want to spend more time with your family because that's a priority, really evaluate your time commitments. If you need to set a limit on how many activities your kids are involved in, you can have a family discussion and there's no magic number, and I definitely wouldn't tell anyone how to raise their children, but if that's something that you need to do, if you feel just overwhelmed with running multiple kids here and there, then maybe just have a talk and ask your kids, maybe let them pick a few or something like that, and limit your time so that you can have the family life that you want. You can make those priorities important. And if you are involved in too much, if you're saying yes to too many things, which is another point that I'll get to, just really reevaluate where you are spending your time. One way that you can do this is just write down what you are doing each day. I heard the suggestion before, but write down each hour how you are spending your time. It really gives you a good idea at how you are spending your time, and then you can see if that falls in line with your priorities and your non-negotiables. The third way to simplify your life is to sometimes, or a lot of times, say no. We get asked so many things, and I am all for helping others, volunteering, being active in your community, being active in your church, being active in the things that are important to you, being active in your kids' schools. But sometimes we can't do everything. So if you're going on field trips, I loved going on field trips with my kids and I went on tons of them, and you are making meals for people and you're volunteering here and there, and then someone else needs you to, spend time doing something on the weekend, like helping them paint or whatever, and that was your only chance to, go to the grocery store for your family, or that was your only chance to have a moment with your family where you're not rushing around, just really think about it. You don't necessarily always have to say yes, and if it is going to affect you and how you respond to your family and the people you love, if you feel overwhelmed and stressed out and it results in you acting that way, then sometimes we have to say no. And it's okay. It's okay to sometimes say no. Another thing that you can do, and I have heard so many people say this in different women's things that I've listened to, they always say, don't say yes right away. Say, let me look at my schedule. Let me think about that. If it's involving your husband and yourself, or your wife, because I know I do have some men viewers, and yourself, let me talk it over with my husband, let me talk it over with my wife, and that way you have a moment to think about it before you sign yourself up for too much. And like I said, I'm all for helping people, but sometimes we stretch ourselves too thin. The fourth way to simplify your life is to not be too concerned about what other people think of you. We all get everybody's opinions. If you look at social media, there's always blog posts and opinions about everything from politics to when you should wean your baby to how they should sleep and how you should decorate and what foods you should eat and if you should eat organic this and that and if you should be vegan and if you should buy this or use this, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And if you do anything, there are opinions about it. Live your own life, make your own decisions. I would say educate yourself on things as far as raising your children, immunizations. Do what you think is right for your kids. If you want to homeschool and everyone else doesn't agree with it, or if you want to send your kids to school and everyone doesn't agree with it, it is okay, because you are the parent, and don't worry about what everybody thinks. If you want to decorate your house in a certain way, do what makes you happy. You are the one that lives there. If you want to dress in a certain style of clothing, go for it. It's your body, and you can represent yourself in a style that is pleasing to you. If you want to wear your hair a certain way, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom or not be a stay-at-home mom, if you want to co-sleep, if you want to breastfeed or not breastfeed, do what you think is best, and don't worry about what everyone else thinks, because you will never ever please everyone. And that is that is something that we had to do very early on when we had children. We just really had to think through a lot of things and make decisions based on what we thought was right, and not let other people's opinion influence us. And that will really simplify your mind if you know that you made the best decision for your children or for yourself, even if you don't have kids. If you are very ambitious and want to go after a career and no one has your back, do it. Do what you want to do and take that chance. Of course, if everything works out and you can pay your bills and all of that, but do what you feel is right in your life, and don't let everybody's opinion affect you. And definitely don't read blog posts and things on Facebook that are completely against what you do, because it's just going to irritate you and you just want a simplified life. The fifth way to simplify your life is to eliminate negativity the best you can. And I am all for, if you are having a conflict with someone, talking to them. If it's someone that you can't go and see, say they live in another state, sending an email or something. If someone is bringing you down or being hurtful toward you, either physically or emotionally, or talking about you, gossiping about you, whatever, I am all for going to that person and saying, this is what you're doing. I don't think this is acceptable, or this hurts my feelings when you do that. And that's all you can do. If someone is constantly tearing you down, and it really affects your life, you don't need that. None of us, no matter what, none of us deserves to be torn down. We don't have to accept negativity, and we don't deserve it. No matter what anybody says about you, no matter what you've gone through, no matter how you were raised, no matter what, you don't deserve anyone to tear you down or to make you feel bad about yourself or to gossip about you or anything. And if you have to eliminate people from your life, I think that that is a great way to simplify your life. Like I said, I do think it's best to talk to them first, but if they continue on, you need to live your life and have joy in your heart. And if someone is causing you that much conflict, it's time to let them go. And that goes for people online too. If there are people who are always starting arguments with you online, on social media, or if you are a YouTuber or a blogger and you have people just, always picking you apart or twisting what you do or say, block and delete and move on. You do not deserve it, and you don't have to put up with it. And you will feel a lot more peace and calm if you remove the negativity. The sixth way to simplify your life is to not be so concerned with what other people have going on. And by that, I don't mean that in an overly negative way. I'm a Christian, so I'm all for coming alongside people and knowing them and rejoicing with them when they have great things happen in their lives, and mourning with them when something bad happens, and knowing them well enough that they can talk to me and I can encourage them and all of that. So that's not what I'm talking about. What I mean is just being overly concerned with every little thing that someone is doing, whether you agree with it or not, or just being a busybody, as the Bible calls it, or a gossip. Just, if you don't agree with what they're doing with their kids, or how they dress, or their house, or this or that, or what they post, just live your own life, enjoy your own life, and let them live their life and enjoy their life, and be a friend when you need to be a friend. But we can get too concerned with what people have going on, especially with social media. It's really easy to get too involved in what other people are doing or posting or whatever. And I would say you can really simplify your mind and your life by just living your own life and not being so concerned with what everyone else is doing. The seventh way to simplify your life and your mind is to quit comparing yourself to others. And we hear this all the time. And a lot of times it is meant in like how we look or how we appear and all of that. And that is very true. But it's also true of so much more than just the way we look. We shouldn't compare our lives with others, our marriage, our kids, our job, whatever it might be, our success, our failures with anyone. God places all kinds of different things in each of our lives, and what we go through is for us. It's our journey and not someone else's. And we are all so different, and God can be growing you in a certain area, and that might be why he has you going through something, and that will be totally different from someone else. And we all have different talents and abilities. We all have things that we are good at, and we all have things that we aren't. If you saw me trying to decorate a cake, if you saw me trying to hit a baseball, all kinds of things, but you don't see that on YouTube or social media most of the time. People aren't like, here, look at this horrible cake I tried to decorate, or here's a video of me trying to play baseball or something. So just remember that you have things that you are great at, and other people have other things, and that's why we're all different, and we can all help each other out. And just work on your talents, and if you are younger or you haven't figured out what those are, it is okay. I love to cook, and I don't think I'm like the greatest cook in the world or anything like that, but I love to cook. I love to share my recipes. But when I was in college, I didn't hardly know how to cook anything. When I first got married, oh, I could tell you some stories about trying to cook different things, but over time I learned how to cook, and I learned how to bake and all of that, and it ended up being something that I love and that I can share with other people. But if you're young and you don't know what you're good at or what your talents are, it's okay. Have fun trying to figure it out. Try lots of different things, but don't compare yourself with others, because God will work on you, and he has a purpose for you, and your purpose is different than everybody else's, and you are very much needed. And maybe you aren't all that crafty. I'm not either. Maybe you aren't super organized naturally. Maybe, you don't know how to cook that great, but you could be like the most caring, nurturing person, or the most encouraging person, and you are needed. So don't compare yourself with other people, and just work on the things that you are good at. I hope this was helpful. A lot of these were kind of simplifying our mind and our thoughts so that we can have a more simple life, but I hope that it was encouraging to you. I do want to share more things that will help us simplify our lives, but it probably won't be in a 5 ways or 7 ways type of video. I have lots more that I want to share, and I did mention that I wanted to do some budget videos, and I'll probably do those in a few weeks, just because I want to really think through how I want to share all of that. So anyway, I have lots more to come. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.